Hey guys, it's Adrian, and today I'm here to bring you a Top 5 Wednesday video. I haven't done a Top 5 Wednesday video in quite some time, but I've got 2 coming at you this month. What's going on? Today's Top 5 Wednesday video, I could not resist. I usually do them every year anyway. They're quite controversial, but I do like doing them because I feel like on my channel I am always very positive. It's not very often that I say I didn't like a book. I try to be nice all year long, and I feel like this is the one moment in the year where I allow myself to say some of the books that I read were actually really bad this year that I personally did not like. It doesn't mean they're bad books. Before we start, let's talk about opinion disclaimers here, people. I'm not saying that these are bad books in general. I just didn't like them. If it's your favorite book, I'm sorry, but we're all grown-ups here. We all have our own opinions. We never read the same book. But these are 5 books that I just didn't like this year. They were the worst books that I read this year. And some of them were actually really disappointing because they shouldn't have made it to this list. And alas, they did. On my Goodreads page, I only have 3 1-star books. I never give 1-star books, but 2 got 1 this year. 2. That's impressive. First up is a book that I knew I wasn't gonna like. I picked it up in February, March because of Valentine's Day. I probably should unhaul this book because I didn't like it, but that was Alex and Liza by Marissa de la Cruz. This got 2 stars for me. Here's the thing about this one. I am not a huge romance fan. I don't like romance books. They are starting to grow on me a little bit. I can like the controversial romance books I do like, but the cute contemporary romance books I don't like. This is a very young adult, very cutesy romance book. I should have known, first of all, by the cover, but this is a retelling of Alexander Hamilton and his wife, soon-to-be wife in this book, Liza. And I had hoped that I would get a little bit more history. I was hoping for like some behind-the-scenes Revolutionary War kind of thing, and I got cutesy romance that just wanted to make me gag. That really, this book really went nowhere in my personal opinion, and I didn't enjoy it. I did finish it. All these books on this list I finished, so go me, but I didn't like it. Here's the book probably that broke my heart the most, and this wasn't the first time that I read this book. I have read this book a couple times, and each time I read it I hope that I'll like it a little bit better, but I don't. And it's the only book in the series that I didn't like, and that is A Horse and His Boy by C.S. Lewis. This story was boring. I love The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I love The Magician's Nephew. I love all of the other books, but The Horse and His Boy is my least favorite in the series. I gave it a 2 stars. Oh, it hurts me to even say it, but I couldn't. I listened to it on audio because I've never listened to these books on audio, and granted, the narrator was also awful, but the book just dragged on and on and on and on, and it's not even a long book. I just didn't like it. Coming in at number 3 is The Child Thief by Bram. Here's the thing. This one made the list because I personally didn't enjoy it, but I thought for what it was fantastically reimagined story. This is a reimagining of Peter Pan. It is a dark fae retelling. It is full of Celtic lore. It is fantastically researched. But it was really dark, and I don't like really dark books. It made me feel a little bit depressed. So because of that, it made it on my worst list of books that I read because I personally didn't enjoy it. But I do think that it is an incredible piece of work, and I would recommend it even though I didn't like it. Unlike the rest of these books where I just didn't like it, I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend this book. If you like darker books, then you will enjoy this book. I just personally didn't because I like books that make me feel happy. Coming in at number 2 is Het Diner by Herman Koch. This is the Dutch original version. They do have it in English. It's called The Dinner. This one is meant to be a psychological thriller. It's also a movie, a Dutch movie. I think I read this one for a booktubeathon last year, and it was just terrible. It was weird. I didn't like it. It felt like a psychological thriller wannabe. Like it was almost there but not quite, and I didn't enjoy it. It was a short little book, so it didn't take a whole lot to finish and to read, but I didn't enjoy it. Coming in at number 1 is the worst book that I read this year, and that is What I Saw and How I Lied by Judy Blundell. This book, I think, is from what I can remember, a post-World War II book. I want to say post-World War II, pretty sure post-World War II. But it is about a girl whose name I can't even remember, and her dad or stepdad was involved in the war, and things are not going well for their business. They end up going on this road trip to Florida where they meet some other people that they could potentially go into business with, and she meets this guy that her dad was involved with in the war, and they fall in love. First of all, he's like 10 or 15 or 20 years older than her, so ew, pedophile. And second of all, it was just weird, and it didn't go anywhere, and I didn't like it, and I didn't enjoy it. And I like historical fiction books, but this was just awful. I'm sorry, I did not like it. I got it recommended on my audiobook app because I have no idea, but I couldn't do it. I would not recommend this book. I personally didn't like it. Again, if you liked it, I am sorry, but this was the worst book that I read in 2018. So that wraps it up for this week's Top 5 Wednesday video. Again, I'm sorry if I insulted your favorite book, but we all read different things. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you have not yet, I would love for you to subscribe, and I will see you next time.